How's it going, everybody? Hope your weekends are going very good. So, back, Friar Talk here, going live. Gonna be doing these weekly recaps, I think, throughout the season from now on. We wanted to keep doing live streams, and in the past, we just kind of done them randomly. We started doing the pre-series live streams before, and then throughout the offseason, we've done the Sunday live streams. So, been super fun doing them. We want to keep doing them. I think Sunday's a good day for us, just that we can always put like an hour, put 30 minutes away to do them, just because Sundays are kind of open. I feel like everyone's kind of off on Sunday, so I feel like it'll be fun to do this moving forward, and do a bunch of these weekly recaps basically on what's going on in the Padres system. So, we go through. I think on the thumbnail I put Jorge Alfaro, Mackenzie Gore. We have the competition for who's going to be the fifth starter. We have the massive looming question marks in left field. So a lot of fun stuff to talk about. The left field stuff is I think very frustrating. However, you look at the battle for the fifth starter, and last year it was who are we going to throw in the mound? Who are we going to put on the mound in the fifth as our fifth starter this week? Who are we going to put as a fourth starter? Because there was basically three starters or less for the majority of last season and even the season before that. So, looking at how deep this starting rotation is extremely exciting for all Padre fans, and I think that they're going to be able to carry this team. But then you look at some of the question marks in the lineup, and it is a little bit discouraging at the same time. So a lot of great stuff, a lot of frustrating stuff right now for the Padres. But Isaac, how you feeling right now? How you feel about this last week of spring? Where does it kind of have you with the team?
So first things first, thank you, Anthony, for commenting on my hat. Irie Fan Geek says RIP Scott Hall. Absolutely. I was a WWE fan growing up. I didn't get to see Razor Ramon, but RIP Razor Ramon. But regarding spring training, you look at the whole roster right now. I see Devin's comment, Alfaro takes the cake for spring training MVP, and I'm pleasantly surprised from what I've seen from Alfaro, especially considering that, I was looking at his home runs, and remember, for anyone who remembers last year, I put no stock into Jorge Mateo spring training or Marcano's, because most of their hits came in the fifth inning, sixth inning, or later against guys that weren't major league pitchers. And so I'm looking at it this year, and Alfaro's are actually coming off some major league pitchers. So I think there's actually some stock you can take into that. And they're not wimpy home runs, dude. They fly off the bat. They're hard hit home runs, both oppo and pull side. So very, very refreshing to see someone have that kind of power. It's really cool. And honestly, as much as it sucks, he might be a left fielder. He might be in a little platoon. I call it Profaro, as a Profar Alfaro platoon. So that's something we could see. Very good for Alfaro. Mackenzie Gore is another guy we talk about kind of a lot, who's had a really good spring so far in his innings pitched. We look forward to seeing him pitch some more. I'm not going to jump to too many conclusions on Mackenzie Gore. There's still a lot of time, a lot of spring training left to see what he's got. But I think a point we made in one of our last videos was that for anyone saying it's only 5 innings, remember last season, his spring training. Remember last spring training. Control wasn't there. He was giving up a lot of walks, quite a bit of hits. It was not anywhere near as close as to how good he is doing right now. So even though it's only 5 innings and there's only a little bit to take from it, it's a lot better than what it was last spring training and last season in general. So very good to see out of Gore. I saw a comment up here. Let me bring it up from Jerron. Myers, Profar, and Grisham are 4 for 46 with 13 Ks. What a beautiful sight, right? And that's our starting outfield. That is our starting outfield. They have 4 hits. Myers hit a home run today, so he's 1 for 14 with 7 or 1 for 12 with 7 strikeouts, something like that, almost on Bellinger level. For anyone who doesn't know, Bellinger is 0 for 13 or 0 for 18, 0 for 18 with 13 strikeouts. I mean, Myers is pretty close to that. But for anyone that is a Myers supporter, I completely understand. For anyone who supports our outfield, I don't understand. But I think there's some encouraging things, considering Gore is performing very well, Abrams performing very well. Even Hosmer's doing he's doing better than Myers. But there's some enlightenment, obviously, about you. I saw the comment about you. He had a very good performance. I think his first time around. I don't know if he's went again, but yeah, man, there's some encouraging, but not too much.
Yeah, I mean, that's just brutal. The one thing I will say is I always feel like Myers has horrendous spring numbers. Like, I'll look and be like, dude, what is Myers doing? He's hitting like 50, and it'll be like at the end of spring. And then he always starts the year out extremely hot. So that's the one person I feel like, okay, I'm pretty comfortable there. Like, I've seen how Myers starts out the year. And Myers actually typically early on in the year for like the first month or so will carry the Padres offense, which is what we desperately need him to do this year. Oh my God, with Fernando out. Like, if he could be an 850 OPS guy for like a month and a half and then kind of tail off towards the end, but have that initial like huge surge, he could be Machado's complementary bat. So maybe like you get him like hitting at the right time. The problem with him is always like, can he do it throughout the whole season? And what is he, 29, and he's never been able to do it? Like, I don't have faith in him being able to do it for a whole year, but at least for a couple months, that'd be huge. Now, starting out the year, and John said it, 1 for 14 with 7 Ks is not what you want to see in spring, though, for him to start out hot. Profar is a person I think in this that I'll highlight the most, just because, dude, he always starts out the year horrible. Have you noticed that, Isaac? Like, awful. Both times,
Absolutely.
both years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm scared about that, because if you just have Profar swinging a wet noodle out there, that's going to be a serious problem when you also have Ha-Seong Kim, Trent Grisham, who's been struggling. Just so many guys struggling right now in the lineup. So it is a little bit scary. Today was a good day, though, for the Padres. I also see, who was it? Anthony asked, were you impressed with Yu Darvish's performance? Don't worry, he got it right. But he was like, for you, I don't know if I'd say I was impressed with his performance today, just because I'm like always impressed when I watch Yu Darvish pitch, just because like the stuff he throws is so nasty. I saw one of the strikeouts he had today was just absolutely disgusting. Had the batter completely fooled. So I don't know if like today would be one, just because I feel like he's just such a fun pitcher to watch. And Isaac, we've talked about in the past, even if he's not putting up good numbers, it's so entertaining to watch him. Like, he's just he's such a fun player to watch. And as a pitcher, I think a lot of guys, like, you can be a great pitcher, but you don't strike out a lot of guys. But then for you, it's like he gives up a lot of hard contact, but he also just completely fools batters and like has guys lost. So you get to see a lot of like big wins either side when Yu's pitching. So hopefully Yu starts out the year hot. Hopefully he stays healthy. I think that was a bigger aspect to his fall off last year than necessarily like the sticky stuff going away on the pitches, because I feel comfortable with him going into this year, having a whole offseason to work with that, get healthy. That's going to be the big thing for him. So definitely excited about Yu Darvish. Going through the comments, talking about Bellinger a little bit. Campy isn't impressing anyone. We were talking about this. So you brought up Alfaro. Noah had a big home run the other day. Noah pitched Darvish today. Guys, that is actually really, really big, I think. That's
keep an
something
eye
to
on
really
that.
monitor that.
Keep an eye on that.
Because if you move, if you move Caratini makes what, like $2 million bucks. So that frees up anyone that makes like up to $8 million as a trade piece if you end up moving that money. So that's one aspect of it. Other aspect is, I think Alfaro is destined to be the backup catcher, right? Like, do you feel the same way? I think he's a lock to be the backup catcher. If you have Nola and him, and then you send Campy back down to AAA, and then you trade Caratini, I think that's the best way to go about the catcher position.
Yeah. I feel like you kind of have to trade away at least one catcher, whether it be Caratini or Campusano. I mean, I really don't feel like it'll be Alfaro. We just traded for him, and I really don't think it'll be Nola, because, I mean, the pitchers love pitching to Nola. Also, Nola, surprisingly, for anyone who doesn't know, does provide some positional versatility, where even though I would prefer he only plays catcher, he can play second. He can play not to Tatis level shortstop, but he can play shortstop. Because remember, I think there were a couple, like a game or two, when we were really hit hard by the Fernando injury. I think it was against the Cardinals, where he played second or first. So even though it's not like anything crazy, he does provide versatility. So does Alfaro. Caratini provides none. I mean, Caratini had a cool solid 1 month, and then everything kind of just didn't go good after that. He was named the scientist way too early after the no-hitter. And I mean, come on. Like, I don't want to be like mean or anything, because obviously he can be a solid player. Like, I remember from the Cubs organization, people who like the Cubs said, like, you guys are going to like Caratini. So I don't think he's like a horrible player. It's just that for us, like, he doesn't provide speed. He doesn't provide what we desperately need. We desperately need power. He doesn't really provide it. So I could see him getting moved, especially with Irie Fangeek keeps bringing it up how the catcher position right now is heavily depleted. It's not a position that we've seen it for the past couple of years, but that makes Campusano especially intriguing to trade because as big a fan I am of Campusano, I see right now he's batting 111. He has one home run. I think he has quite a bit of strikeouts. Um, he has quite a bit of strikeouts. Um, so he's not really impressing. Also, his catching is not really there. So I do think he's tradable. As much as I like him, I think he's probably going to net you the most, especially if you're still trying to get rid of Hosmer. I mean, I doubt you're going to, but he's probably going to net you the most, him or Hassel. So with the catcher position right now, I do think it's going to come down to I think Nola's a guarantee. And I think the rest of the three are kind of fighting for a spot. And I think the biggest loser right now is it's definitely not Alfaro. I would probably have to go with Caratini just because he doesn't have like the pedigree that Luis Campusano does in terms of, at least in the Padres organization.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think that Caratini's kind of the odd man out in terms of MLB. And then Campy, I see Brock brought up trade Campy. I see some people saying he's been struggling. Let's see. JQ Frutos, he says trade Campy 100%. So a lot of people, yeah, Irie trade Campy for a proven outfielder. So trading Campy is definitely something that I think a lot of people are getting on board. Now, I still like Campusano. Like, I still feel like he can be really good. I want to look up right now. I know we looked this up before, but he's what? He's not older than 23, right? There's no way.
I don't believe so. No, I don't believe so.
Let me see.
I believe he's still a top 50, top 60 prospect.
He's 23 right now. He's going to turn 24 at the very end of the year. Wait, is that right? That doesn't seem. Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, his birthday's close to mine, so I was thrown off.
Thanks, Jaron.
Yeah, you'd rather have Isaac over to left field than Profar. Isaac, I mean, you can get in the competition for left fielder for the San Diego Padres.
I'll go try out for the Storm first.
Yeah, so a lot of people talking about trade Campy. I mean, I think that you said it right pretty perfectly about how the catcher position looks. But I do wonder if you trade Caratini, you could potentially move Campy too. So question here for you is not should we trade Campy, because I think that's all going to depend on who it is, who you're going after. We've talked about, oh my God, Cedric Mullins. We've talked about Brian Reynolds. Wilson Contreras has been brought up, like so many different. And the Wilson Contreras move to me, I do not get it at all. I really don't get it.
No.
Like, I would rather have Nola play platoon at like left and second than trade for Contreras and then put Contreras in left field. Like that's just weird for me. I think that Nola is probably a more capable defender than him. Actually at every position there. Now the question with Nola is always going to be health. But if you have Alfaro, you have Nola, you have Campy in AAA, I think that's probably the most likely option. But say you were going to trade a prospect, say you're going to move Hosmer, or you're going to make a move for one of these guys that I brought up. Would you be more interested in trading Robert Hassel or Luis Campusano?
So this question kind of relates to what JQ just asked right now. If we want to win now, is Campy really going to help? I personally, if we want to win now, that's a really tough question to answer because I really feel like at his highest, like his ceiling, I feel like he could be a really big help, especially considering he has potential to be one of the biggest power hitting catchers in the league. However, his catching ability severely hinders my confidence in him to be, helpful to the Padres in the future. Now I think at the catching position, he can fix everything in terms of his framing, which I think was the biggest issue for him last year. I think along with pitch calling, framing was a huge issue for him last year. I think he has the arm. I think he has the power. I think he will be a strikeout. He will strike out a lot, but personally, I don't think he can help out a lot right now, especially considering the pitchers love throwing to Austin Nola. That's all of their guys pretty much. Unfortunately, he can't catch every day, and he can tend to be a little injury prone, and that's where Campy would come in. But Campy would only be able to come in if he was able to call games a lot better than he did last year. And I'm not gonna, like slander his pitch gone from last year, because I was the one who kept saying, like, remember, he's young. He was hitting the ball hard, and even though that doesn't show in his average, he was hitting the ball hard. I think in the lineup as a hitter, he can help. On the field, I do not think he can help as much. Because remember, he has a lot of power, and I think with experience seeing the MLB pitching, he could definitely hold his own at the plate. It's just a matter of like he's kind of like a better version of Francisco Mejia, I think. Remember, Mejia kind of was thought of to have a lot of power, but his defense kind of sucked. I see Campy would be a younger version of Gary Sanchez. I hate Gary Sanchez. I don't think he's very good, so I would be very frustrated if that was the case. I do think he could be better than that, though. But is he going to help? Only at the plate, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think that Campy's unlikely to help just because. And you bring up at the plate, I think you're right there. But like, where are they going to roster him? How are they going to roster him? It seems really unlikely unless if they did move Caratini, then maybe they could say, "Hey, Campy, we're going to put you at catcher, DH, and first base." Okay, I can see that. But how confident are they that he's going to be able to produce offensively too? Like, is it worth putting him there and not having him start every day as a catcher? I would probably lean that it's not. So that's kind of where I'm not sure there. I see there's some other trade talk going up here, so I'm going to bring that back. But I don't know, man. Like, I think it's a good question. Is Campy really going to be able to help us now? And I think I would say not yet. And that's the thing about trading prospects too and holding on to prospects is if you're going to hold on to all your prospects, you might not get as high end of players than what are being offered for them because you're getting proven guys. So you might trade Campy, and Campy just might not end up turning out to be a great player. Like, that's the same thing with Robert Hassel. Dare I say it, the same thing with CJ Abrams? No, I think CJ Abrams is going to be a beast. But, like, I think – but even, like, Jerkson Profar was the number one prospect.
Yep.
That's crazy. Even, oh, my gosh, Noah Mazzara. Wasn't Mazzara, like, a really high-end
was
prospect?
a high-end prospect.
Yeah, so, like, so many of these guys end up just kind of not panning out. So I think that it makes a lot of sense to trade Campusano. I really do. I see that who is it? Dustin said the Twins need pitchers too. Perfect trade partner for the Twins. I think maybe if the Twins don't want to trade Max Kepler, right? If they want to trade Max Kepler, I think that the Padres would be super interested.
Yeah, I think they would too. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they'd want to trade Kepler, especially considering Buxton is kind of injury prone. I'm sure they'd want to have as many good outfielders on the roster as they can. And remember, it looks like they want to win right now, and it looks like they're putting the lineup out there to win right now. What pitchers can we offer them? I think Ryan Weathers is on the table. I don't know. I feel like he should be talked about a lot more in trade talks because, quite frankly, I think he's the most expendable right now. Although I do think you'll get the least amount of trade capital for him right now. I think you'll get the most out of Chris Paddock, and I don't include Gore. We're not trading Gore. I think you get the most out of Chris Paddock because I think Paddock still has all the potential in the world. But, I mean, he's nothing more than a fifth starter for us, and that he could be replaceable. However, I think right now this team, especially considering, the state of our health from last year, needs as many starters as we can have. Joe Musgrove was healthy all year. I'm not worried about him. Blake Snell looks like he's going to take some time to ramp up. I've seen things where he's going to start the year only pitching lowest amount 3, highest amount 5. Also depends on how many pitches he's into a game. I think he's probably going to be limited at 85 to 90 pitches. Yu Darvish obviously had a great start to the year, but got hindered by injuries. Mike Clevenger coming off Tommy John. Chris Paddock had a sprained UCL. Dinelson Lamet still has a UCL problem. So there's a lot of questions regarding this pitching staff, and I think we're going to have to hold on to maybe not all the pitchers, but most of the top end pitchers that we have.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same way. And also, I forgot to say thanks, but thank you, JQ, for the super chat.
Yeah,
didn't notice that right away. So going through, gonna keep looking. Someone did. I think Jaron said that Kepler's also on his last year of his deal, so maybe they would want to trade him. But I do think that the Twins are trying to win now. Also, did you by any chance see the Twins outfielder today? How bad of their center fielder? His name's Derek Fisher. Did you see that?
Derek Fisher.
He missed the ball. he misplayed a ball. He underran or like overran it, and they like dropped it basically.
Yeah.
And then I forgot what his name. I forget his first name. Duran. He's one of the Red Sox top prospects. He scored from second on a fly out on
Oh,
this dude
dude.
on a fly ball to him. It was
No, I
a
didn't see
rough
it.
day for that dude. So I don't know. I don't know much about that guy, Derek Fisher, but he had a rough day today. So I don't know if we want to move for him. Make a move for him.
I don't know if you watched the first game, but that reminded me of the very first game of spring training when they played the Mariners and Gore was on the bump. I forgot who it was. Nola hit a shot up the middle, but it looked like it could have been caught for sure. And Kellenic completely misplayed it, and it went over his head. It was really crazy because Kellenic's a really highly regarded player right now. But I mean, it happens to the best of them.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. And it was just bad. I think it was the same day. It was like, dang, this guy had two horrible plays today.
Yeah,
I felt bad for him, honestly.
I know.
Okay, we got some Preller talk in the chat. JDS starts says Preller's a joke now. It said that no one wants to trade with him. Hack says that I know a lot of people are hating on Preller, but there's no reason to make a move. I guess that's not really Preller talk. But Preller is brought up. I think there's a lot to say about Preller. So our next two videos that we're going to make, one of them is going to be on the pitching staff. And I'll tell you guys right now, sneak peek, at least I am. I'm going to be extremely high on the pitching staff, probably higher than most people that like do like Padres content type stuff are going to be. I will probably be one of the highest. Then the next day, because we're going to go full homer mode, then the next day we're going to have a video on the Padres lineup and on the team building of this Padres team and just the massive flaws that are in it and basically what's going to deter them from being good. So there's going to be a very positive aspect to it and then a very, very negative aspect to it in the next 2 days. But I'm super excited to talk about that. And I'm going to talk a lot about Preller in that second one. But to keep it brief, I think Preller's done a horrible job managing not the talent on the team, but the team building aspect of baseball, where currently he has 4 catchers playing and they have 2 legit outfielders. I don't think you can say another guy on this team is a legit outfielder. I know Fernando's played. I know Nola's played. I know there's been guys that have played. I know people want Abrams to play. I want Abrams to play in the outfield, but like there are 2 legit outfielders on this team. And that is absolutely terrifying. Alfaro's probably not going to play in the outfield. But I think Bob Melvin said it's not going to happen.
Yep.
Or said like it was unlikely to happen or something. So I'm very frustrated with Preller right now, and I think that this outfield is really, really scary.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of with you on the pitching staff. I'm very high on the pitching staff this year. Of course, that's barring health. I think it's not you could look at it and say, but it's the same personnel as last year. It's literally all of them are the same, except Mike Clevenger's in the fold this year. However, the reason we are so high on them, and the reason what we are seeing right now, Ruben Niebla is going to be something big for this Padres team, and we think he's going to make a massive difference, especially considering Larry Rothschild is. I don't even know why he was hired in the first place. I mean, all I've heard about is just bad slander about him. But now we're getting Ruben Niebla. For anyone who hasn't heard about him, go look at what I'm sure all of you have heard about him. But go look at what Mike Clevenger said about him, man. Mike Clevenger was pumped to get him back, and Mike Clevenger thinks he's going to make a massive difference for this pitching staff. He's pretty much the reason we're super high on this pitching staff. However, when it comes to the lineup, exactly what did that $200 million buy? I'll tell you what it bought. It bought a 622 OPS Ha-Seong Kim. And I'm not, I think he's going to need more time, but I was looking at it and I'm thinking, who has come from Korea or Japan and had a baddest debut season as Ha-Seong Kim that ended up being an all-star? You know the answer?
I don't.
Nobody. Nobody. Not even close. I think the lowest OPS I saw was in the 750s. Now, of course, granted, a lot of these guys got a lot more games, a lot more at-bats than Ha-Seong Kim. However, in the second half of the season, I think he made 20 starts, and it was really bad. His stat line was really bad. But remember, like, in my opinion, you need to make an impact almost off the bat. For anyone who remembers Jake Cronenworth, I didn't know who he was. He came in to pinch hit in the Diamondbacks game in the 9th inning, and he earns a spot almost immediately. He made a name for himself almost immediately. Fernando, base hit in his debut. He got like almost 2 base hits in his debut and just kept piling it on as games kept going. Like, I think as a prospect, you kind of I think everyone earns playing time, especially on a team that was supposed to be as talented as this. You earn your playing time, and defensively, he was fantastic. And I keep saying, if the bat were to come around, he would be a fantastic player. He would be probably a 3 or 4 WAR player. But that's if the bat comes around. And like I said, I haven't seen an all-star come from Korea or Japan that had as bad a season at the plate as Ha-Seong Kim. Not trying to super slander him. I really do like Ha-Seong Kim, but I mean, who knows how he's going to do this year. I really hope he gets 750 OPS. That'd be really nice. It also goes to Jerks and Profar. I like Profar the most out of us 3, and I don't even like him that much. He doesn't hit for much power. He's not that good of an outfielder. Like, overpaid for him, and that's just because it's Preller's guy. Got us $13 million of Hosmer. I think this year it might be 20. I'm not entirely sure, which is obviously a negative WAR. If you go on B WAR, crazy to say, if you go based on baseball references WAR, Eric Hosmer was more valuable than Will Myers, surprisingly. And I don't think that's true. That didn't show on the field. But Will Myers in B WAR, I checked yesterday, Will Myers in B WAR was 0.8. Eric Hosmer was 1. Now, of course, that's like, everybody says don't go based on B WAR, go based off F WAR. F WAR is the best, and I need to go ahead and check on that. But those 2 players significantly hinder you, and based on B WAR, they went a combined 1.8 WAR for almost 40 million. So when we talk about Preller, we could be pretty hype about this pitching staff. But when we look at the lineup, it's basically the same lineup, except we go based off. They were so poor last year and so good in 2020 that it's like night and day. It's like, what can we expect from this lineup? Not a bunch of home runs, not a high OPS team, not a high slugging team. And I mean, I've brought it up multiple times. In order to be a winning team, you kind of have to hit for power. And that just doesn't look like it'll happen this year in terms of this lineup, at least. Basically, Preller needs to bank on Grisham. I think he needs to bank on Grisham having a big season, and he's got to hope that this pitching staff can hold up until Fernando comes back.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I think the first thing I want to touch on is Kim, then I'll talk about Profar, go over some of these contracts and stuff, because I see people talking about that in the chat. Going to Kim, I think what you're talking about is super fair when you look at guys like usually they initially make an impact. That's why I think that it's very likely that CJ Abrams becomes the starting shortstop like a couple weeks into the year. If Ha-Seong Kim starts the year and struggles, Abrams will play there. Abrams will start there. I'm very confident that is the case. I don't know if Abrams is going to start right away, but I think that if Kim doesn't look really good, he's going to end up being like the utility player there. Then, see people also talking about Hosmer. Same thing with Hosmer. If Hosmer struggles and CJ Abrams gets a playing opportunity and balls out, they will move Cronenworth to first and keep Abrams at second. I'm also very confident in that. So there's a couple of adjustments that could happen to this team early on. So I don't know. First, for Kim, do I think he's going to be a lot better? I don't think he's going to become an all-star caliber player. I think Kim is a utility infielder. He can play every single spot in the infield. I think if you really needed him to go learn corner outfield spots, I think he definitely would be capable of doing that. He's a great athlete. I think that's something that kind of gets forgotten about him. Is he's a really, really good athlete. I think a couple of weeks ago, I think it was in a live stream, we were talking about his defense or his speed, and we were kind of sleeping on it. Like, we're like, he's not that fast. And it's like, no, he's like really fast, actually.
Yeah, he's fast.
He's like a sneaky athletic kind of guy, I feel like. But maybe just because he's small, like he's only like 5'8" or 5'9", so maybe that's why it's like that. And then, he's standing next to like Manny and Tatis, who just like completely tower over him. But he didn't make a ton of adjustments to his swing. And I see people talking about that. A lot of people thought he was going to cut it down because he struggled against when guys would just go, oh yeah, I'm going to throw a high fastball at you. You're not going to hit it. And they just blow it by him all the time. It seemed like it was something that he tried to make a big deal about, but he didn't change his swing. So we're gonna have to see what those adjustments look like early on. I think it's definitely too early to tell. He actually has really good spring numbers, but Isaac, like you brought up with, guys last season like Mateo, he had great numbers, but he wasn't hitting them. He wasn't getting his hits against MLB caliber pitchers. So right now, Kim's hitting like over 350 and has over 1,000 OPS. But I think if he was to have a 750 OPS, he'd be a very, very valuable player because he plays Gold Glove caliber defense at multiple positions, and that is something that you usually don't get out of many infielders and many players in the MLB. He can play to like shortstop and second for sure, and I would feel comfortable with him playing elite defense at third as well. So yeah, 385 he's hitting right now. So that's I mean, that's great. Hopefully he keeps that up, but a lot of question marks there. I see people talking about Hosmer because he played really good today. I don't know. I don't know how much stock I want to put into it because on one hand, it's like, hey, did he adapt a better launch angle? Because then I'm going to be excited. I feel like you're going to be excited about that too. But I don't know. It's just like so much stuff is too early to tell with a lot of these guys, especially against kind of I feel like it's easier to tell the pitchers in spring. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, because pitchers aren't they're working on a lot of stuff. My one of my coaches used to be a spring. He pitched in spring training. He was I don't think he was a top prospect, but he pitched for the Tigers, and he was saying that one time in spring training, because hitters are working on stuff too. He said I forgot who he faced. It was a big time hitter, but he struck him out the first time, and then the next time they took him like 600 feet. So, but also like a lot of these guys are just working on stuff, working on improving their off speeds, whether it's velocity. It's kind of just like another live bullpen to them. I mean, the numbers don't really matter. So this spring training starts kind of like live bullpens working on a lot of stuff. And that's why, especially because we see a lot of spring training guys hit a lot of bombs and they become talks of the town. But, it's also important to remember that pitchers are working on stuff. And although hitters are too, I mean, when pitchers aren't pitching 100%, it's a lot easier to hit off them. And they will be pitching 100%, obviously, to start the season and throughout the season.
So another question for you. Out of all the contracts, because I saw people talking about that earlier, out of all the contracts, which ones are the ones that are frustrating for you? Which ones are like the ones where you're like, all right, that's all right? Because I feel like for me, the profile one is the most annoying. I saw Jerron said this earlier. Like Preller's just like, hey, let's just pay some Ranger players for no reason.
Yes, true.
The Preller one's, the profile one's horrible. Like that one makes absolutely no sense. The Ha-Seong Kim one, I don't think it's that bad of a deal. I really don't. I think one thing that also needs to be remembered about it is that Ha-Seong Kim is bringing a ton of money from Korea over in terms of merchandise sales and stuff. So from an ownership standpoint, now not when you're talking about competing against the luxury tax, but from an ownership standpoint, it makes a lot of sense to have Ha-Seong Kim come over here. And I mean, look at like how much the fan base loves him too. Pomeranz, at the time, I didn't mind the Pomeranz deal as much because he was really good. But obviously, there were some serious injury questions with that. And in the Preller time, those injury questions, those issues with injuries have absolutely burned the Padres so many times. They've mismanaged injuries like an extraordinary amount. And we even talked about this Tatis one. They should have done something better. Wasn't it before the lockout that they knew about this?
Yes. They knew about it in December or January, I believe.
And so it's like, dude, like you guys didn't like check him out? Or you just were like because it is Tatis's fault. Yes. But like this was even one where it's like, guys, you just trusted a 22-year-old, like, hey, I'm good, I'm healthy. A dude like Tatis who's going to tell you he's healthy like every time, like that was frustrating. So a lot of injury stuff. But at the time, I thought the Palm deal made sense. And then Hosmer, obviously, that's terrible. I don't even think the Myers contract's that bad. The problem with the Myers contract is that it was structured in like the dumbest way that you could possibly structure a contract, where you said, well, we could pay him right now and the payroll is nothing. Or we could backload this deal, and when we try to contend, we'll be paying Will Myers $20 million for 2 or 3 years. So that one just made no sense structurally, but that's kind of where I'm at on all of them. Isaac, what about you?
Okay, so we're talking about them all. We'll go ahead and talk about, obviously, Eric Hosmer is not good considering he's gotten you like 0 wins above replacement throughout his whole contract. Definitely very frustrating, but I find it hard to even be frustrated at it anymore considering, I mean, I'm already just used to it. I already know what to expect from Hosmer coming into the season. I don't get really that mad anymore unless I see him playing some horrible first base and the inevitable ground out into a double play almost once every 2 games, I would assume. But that one doesn't frustrate me as much anymore. The one that frustrates me the most Matt, I think you know it. Will Myers. I and I talked about it with my dad. I think too many people give Will Myers a pass because he's been with the Padres for so long, because he's the Padres' longest tenured guy. But you know what? I don't give a damn about that. I like winning. This guy doesn't help you win. Like, he's in right field, which is the biggest outfield spot in Petco Park. And he was good there for a little while, right? And then injuries start creeping on, and he's slow, and he sucks at it, and he's not good there anymore. He looks significantly better in left field. And this contract structure, I agree, is horrible. And I'm thinking, I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, so he got offered that contract coming off a 3.5 WAR season. And so looking at the money, it made sense. Like 3.5 WAR, this guy was a rookie of the year. He's starting to hold his own again. But then you look at the way it was structured, and now in my head, I'm thinking, okay, so the Padres probably thought that all these top prospects they had from the number one farm system in baseball were going to pan out. Will Myers was going to be an expensive contract, but Fernando, Lamet, Paddock, and a lot of the other guys that were in their system will be cheap contracts, and that's how they will compete. Clearly, it didn't work out that way. A lot of those prospects didn't pan out, whether it be injury or talent, and you needed to start paying up for guys like Machado. Trade for Darvish, a lot of these guys that are higher priced. So that didn't work out for them. With that, Will Myers contract has been horrible, and I don't know, man. I like the guy, but that is going to be the biggest case of what if, because remember, we've talked about how inconsistent he is, where when he's on, he's quite possibly the best hitter, one of the best hitters on this team. But when he is not, he is the worst hitter on this team. The worst. I know some people will say, like, he has the most home runs in Petco Park or whatever it is. I'm pretty sure he's up there for the most strikeouts also. I think he led the team last year in strikeout percentage and strikeouts. So I don't mean to like completely bash the guy, which is kind of what I'm doing. But when you look at the contract, it's not a fun one, man. But it's only 1 year left, so it's okay. But fans get too complacent and give all kind of excuses for the madness on this team. Thank you, JD. I completely agree. A lot of people give too much slack to some of these guys. But Profar, very frustrating also. 7 million, 8 million, something like that. And kind of just a depth piece. It felt like you signed him to be a left fielder, but he was never going to be that. He was just going to be a depth piece. Ha-Seong Kim.
Wait, he's never going to be that. He's going to be a starting left fielder this year.
Oh yeah, he's going to be the starting left fielder. But Ha-Seong Kim, not frustrating yet. I'm not too frustrated with it yet because it was only a year. He still got a couple years left to pan out. Pomeranz. So I know a lot of people were really frustrated with the Pomeranz. I'm going to take the talent here. And if you look at it from a talent standpoint, it would be such a nice contract if he was healthy. He is our best reliever when he is healthy. So in that aspect, I'm not too frustrated with it because I understand, like, you pay for the talent, you expect the talent to be there. Unfortunately, injuries and health have not gone your way, so that sucks. But I mean, maybe it could have been handled better. Maybe you could have given him less money. I don't know who else would offer him the money he got. But man, he is such a good player that it's hard to, like, really despise that contract, because when he's playing, hands down, he's your best reliever. But I said it in that sentence, when he is playing. I don't think there's any other contracts, right?
You talk about Eric Hosmer.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know if we need to talk about Eric Hosmer anymore.
I'm just used to that. I'm used to that.
Dude, I hope he's better. I see people talking about that. I see a lot of people actually like really are feeling that he is, and his swing looks different. I hope so. That's all I'm gonna go on that is I hope so, because I feel like we've done this too many times with Hosmer. Where we've been like, well, maybe this, hey, you started out hot, and it's like something, and it's just been rough. But yeah, I think when we talk about Preller, Preller struggled. Preller's really, really struggled, I think. You look at some of the signings, like, why does Preller get a bunch of credit for signing Manny Machado? That's Manny's decision. Like, that's just like, right? Like, that's just like an obvious one. It's like a layup. No one looks at, the Cardinals situation and goes, well, good thing they drafted Kyler Murray. It's like, no, dude, like, of course they're going to draft Kyler Murray. It's like with Myles Garrett and It's just like some stuff is just so obvious, right? Like, yeah, Machado wants to come to your city. Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll take Manny Machado. Duh. Like that's not like one that you give a ton of credit for, but you give him credit for Tatis because he makes that trade. And outside of that, we looked at it. It has been bad, and he has. Now I will say this: he has brought a ton of talent over, but talent doesn't really mean much if you're not converting it into wins and if you're not converting it into a solid MLB roster, which he has been unable to do. Like some of the team building aspects of him has just been awful. I would definitely say if they miss the playoffs, then he'll get fired. I would be shocked if he was not fired if they missed the playoffs. Um, that is a hot seat, I guess. Yeah, that means he's on the hot seat. I don't know if everyone. Do you feel like he would be like a lock to be fired if they don't make the playoffs? You don't?
Nope, I really don't. I think the fact that Fernando's out for 3 months is going to help him. I think that's going to be like a scapegoat.
That's so. So then what about this? If they start out slow, do they just like really not wait for like or really wait until Fernando's fully healthy to come back, opposed to kind of like rushing him back a little bit if they're doing all right? Because that's so stupid. That's so dumb if that's a part of the reason of how you manage an injury, right?
Yeah. Well, remember last year they kept rushing him back because their lineup was nothing without him. I saw it multiple times. He would only take 10-game breaks when it was very clear he needed longer than that. And it was at the beginning of the season too, when, I mean, you have the whole rest of the season to get him rested up. So why not rest him or to get him, in the games and everything, especially down the stretch when those are your most important games. But you sacrifice that for meaningless Dodger series. Of course, as a Padre fan, I'm sure all of us Padre fans hate to call Dodger series meaningless, but April series are, even if it's against the Dodgers, not entirely meaningless because you want to win a lot of games, but kind of meaningless, especially considering the most important games come September and October. So I think, preserving his health in April, May, and June is the best bet. And if they're not winning by then preserve his health even more. Wait until after the All-Star break if you have to. But I don't think there is a single situation I can think of where you have to rush him back. If you're winning, great. You especially don't have to rush him back. If you're like in the middle, let's say you're like in 2019, you're 500 at the All-Star break, only a couple games back. Okay, you could probably survive a little longer. And I mean, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't think there's a single situation I can think of where you can rush him back.
Yeah. And also like I bring up the playoff thing. Also, I saw you put a bet down in here. You're gonna call Hosmer Hoscod. You're muted.
I sure did. I will absolutely call him Hosgod if he makes the All-Star game. Hosgod.
That would be hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna have to all do. I think we brought this up before. Before the year starts, we're gonna have to all do like bets that we're gonna make. I've thought of a couple. They're pretty solid. But yeah, we're gonna have to get some bets here. Looking through. People talking about Preller. I don't think Snell will let us trade Hosmer. I do, dude. The Snell videos are amazing. If you guys have not seen the Blake Snell spring training videos, they're fantastic. I think the Padres probably have them on like every social media platform, I guess. So if you haven't taken a look at those, highly recommend. Hosmer for MVP. If Hosmer is an all-star, I'll be as happy as I've ever been, probably, if that's the case. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm rooting for the guy.
Yeah,
but
absolutely, yeah. His 10-5 rights and 4-7 comes. If you could, would you try and trade? If you could, or keep? So Jaron, sorry. It kind of just depends. I feel like you would have to give up. If you only have to give up Campusano and eat some of the money, yeah, I'm absolutely trading him. But what I've been saying is that I think a lot of teams know what position the Padres are in. People know the Padres are stuck. People know Preller has gotten himself into the situation. And I'm saying people, I mean like the managers and stuff like that. They know he's stuck. And I think they know, and I think even Preller knows, if he wants to give up Hosmer, he might have to get fleeced. So, I mean, I'd probably just, depending on what you have to give up, let's say it's just Campusano, you have to eat some of his money and you have to take back somewhat of a bad contract. Sure. But if you have to give up Campusano and another top 10 prospect and eat some of the money, I don't know. I find it hard.
Yeah, I agree. But Steve
So,
says we need to take a couple pages out of Billy Bean's book for the future.
yeah.
I do think that's why the Padres have been extremely passive this year. I will say that, which is. But the thing is, I just don't think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to go get a real left fielder, even if you have these bad contracts. But they're going to have 27 freed up between Myers and Hosmer next year. Maybe it's 28, 27 or 28. Billy Bean is the ultimate guy at learning how to sign guys for cheap deals and then getting a lot of production out of them. Padres need to do that. If they can get a couple of those things, that'd be big. Also, Talking Friars just said that Hosmer doesn't get his rights until the end of the season. So, hey, if Hosmer's an all-star, Isaac, you know what to do, man. we know what to do, yeah?
Hey, man. Hosgod. I will continue to call him Hosgod even if he's on another team, I promise. But, hey, if he ends up being an all-star, it's going to be a lot easier.
That would be amazing.
That'd be the funniest thing in Padres team history.
And then he's like, "What if they no the most like Padre thing ever would be if they trade him, then he was an all-star the next year. That would be the most Padre thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But I don't know, guys. Any other questions before we take off? I think Isaac can go get some dinner.
I wanted to do some real quick. So I'm looking at these questions that those guys asked the Padres, the media team, and I wanted to ask you. Let me see. Have you had New York style pizza?
Yeah.
Have you had Chicago deep dish?
Yes.
Okay, so Chicago deep dish or New York style?
Oh, New York style. It's not even a question.
All right.
It's an easy one.
So let me see. Is a hot dog a sandwich? I'll say no.
I don't think so either.
No, it's just
I know like by definition it is or whatever, but it's not a sandwich. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a sandwich either. When I think of a sandwich, I think like two. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think it's a sandwich, but let's see. What were some other ones? If you were to pick a Padre, who would you want as a teammate for a pickup game of basketball?
Can we pick prospects? Because I know I'm picking as a prospect.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm taking James Wood, man. Dude, that dude he's 6'7", 240.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a NBA size forward. I'll rock with James Wood.
So I'm gonna go with what everyone in the video is saying. I'm gonna go with Trace Thompson. Apparently he's a baller. Look, Jaron knows Trace Thompson's a baller. Let's see.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, apparently
he's Clay's brother, right?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he is.
Wait.
Oh, wait. No, yeah, he does have a brother that plays baseball.
But it might not even be that Trey Thompson. It might be a different Trey Thompson. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So while you're looking that up, do you cut a sandwich into triangles or rectangles?
Oh, dude, I saw this one. Dude, who cuts their sandwiches into triangles? Dude?
Yeah, dude, I don't cut my sandwich into triangles.
It's definitely in half.
Yeah, definitely.
I've never heard of that. I've never seen that.
Yeah. I know. I've never seen that. I've never seen anyone do that. What's your favorite Disney or Pixar movie? I mean, I'm wearing mine.
By the way, it is his brother.
No way.
That is Clay's brother. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
So of course, yes.
Yeah, that's an easy. That's pretty easy.
Okay, yeah, so I'm wrong. I'm losing that one. What else you got? Was that the only one?
What's your favorite Disney or Pixar movie?
Well, they're all like Star Wars stuff is now Disney. But
yeah.
Disney hasn't really done that great of stuff with Star Wars. But if we're calling all the Star Wars movies Disney, then I'll definitely rock with some Star Wars. But if not, if we're doing like classic Disney, it's definitely Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, no way. That's a sleeper one. That's a sleeper. That's a sick answer. Is water wet?
Wait, what about you? What about you for Disney? I want to hear this one.
Oh,
are you gonna go through all yours after?
Toy Story.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good
Toy
one.
Story, absolutely. Is water wet?
Yes.
Water is absolutely wet. There was more. Let me see. This one's good. Does a straw have one or two holes?
Let me think about this one. Also, John Murray said he's a triangle guy.
I know. I saw that. Crazy.
So is it better, John? I've never tried.
I mean, I'm going to have to try.
Now I might have to next time make a peanut butter jelly.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna go with one hole.
I think
I'm
it's
going with
one. So Jerickson was making a case for two, but it's just one. It's one throughout the whole thing, right? But
Yeah.
I think he made a good point. If you plug one hole, something can't come out the other. So that's when I was thinking, dang, it might be two. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to go with the one because I think it's just one throughout. Let me see if there's any other ones, dude. I just think these are all so funny,
Devin says
especially when.
two.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. Okay. How about this one? I know the answer to this one, or I think I do. How many pennies tall is the Space Needle? Blake Snell. Blake Snell was the closest to this one.
You say a million?
No, it's
Am I
not
way
a
too high?
million. Yes. One more chance.
100,000.
You're a lot closer to that one. It's somewhere like around 130,000.
Okay.
Are there more doors or wheels in the world? This was the first one.
More what? Doors or
Doors
wheels?
or wheels? Yep.
There's got to be more doors.
Yeah, I think there's more doors. Yeah, I think they're all so funny, especially when Blake's like, "What I say?" That's hilarious when he says that.
Was that the one for? Which one was that? That was for his water wet, I think.
Like all of them. Even.
Oh yeah, he came back and said Nemo. Yeah, he kept talking about Nemo. I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, Snell's the funniest dude.
So, what were the ones you didn't answer? Did you answer them all?
Let me see. I think
Steve also said Aladdin. Aladdin's a good Disney movie.
Aladdin is absolutely a really good Disney movie. Is water wet? I answered that one. Water is wet. Does a straw have one or two holes? I said one. I've never had Chicago deep dish or New York style pizza.
Okay. So imagine this. New York style is like super thin, also super greasy, and it's like crunchy.
Right.
Chicago is like you're taking a spoon, bro, and you're putting it like into it like a super pizza, dude. It's not bad. It's not like I don't like it, but New York is like the best way to make pizza, I think.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, Jerron's bringing up a bad memory for me. The Scherzer Padres stream. Oh man.
My question is, why would you put yourself through the pain of rewatching that stream? We almost deleted it. We didn't delete it because we didn't want to be like dishonest to anyone. Like, okay, we put this out here, we're gonna leave it out here, we're gonna own it. But we thought about deleting. I don't know why you'd ever rewatch it. That's a terrible one.
That one hurts. I might rewatch it just cause. But
you're feeling too happy one day just to rewatch that.
So this is one asked today. What actor do you want to play you in a movie?
I think I'm going with Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt?
Yeah, I think Brad Pitt's a great person, a great actor. That's like one of my favorites. I feel like that's a good one. I don't know.
Bro, I'll go with Tom Holland.
Tom Holland?
Tom Holland is a beast. He's not my favorite Spider-Man. I already know. Somebody might ask me about Spider-Man. Toby's still my favorite Spider-Man. But dude, Tom Holland that dude's a beast. I'd absolutely have to go
I like
Tom
him.
Holland.
Dude, have you ever seen the thing of him talking about all of his dreams and like his goals that he wants to have? Like,
dude,
like a few years back.
Yeah.
He did every single one of them.
Yeah,
it's crazy, dude.
What a baller.
Yeah, absolute baller.
Tom Hanks. Oh yeah, definitely.
Tom Hanks? Adam Sandler, that is an interesting answer. He says only acceptable answer.
Yeah, I like all those.
Eddie Beltre.
Last one. All right. Maybe not last one. We'll see. Did you guys see No Way Home? Dude, I watched it again last night or
is this the new Batman movie?
No, it's Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh. Is that the one that's like a comic one?
So, shoot, I don't want to spoil it.
Let me see. Let me look it up. And see if it's the one I've seen.
So before I talk about it, has everyone in here seen it?
Don't say anything yet. I have not seen that one.
Oh, dude.
So don't spoil it.
Yeah, I can't spoil it. I watched it again.
I'm always late on superhero movies, man. Like I'll watch them all, but I don't always watch it like right when it comes out.
Have you seen all the Spider-Mans?
Besides that, I think
Besides
so, yeah.
that one. Yeah, I think in order to see that movie, you have to have seen. I think you had to have seen. No, yeah, all the Spider-Mans, all of them, because there's a villain from every Spider-Man except for you don't have to watch Homecoming or Far. No, you should watch Far From Home. That one's a baller movie. Um, but nah, dude, No Way Home, easily one of, if not my favorite movie ever. Because I'm a big superhero guy. Like, also, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Like, Spider-Man always will be, always has been my favorite superhero. Always, except for the Amazing Spider-Man series. I've always been there at the theaters, ready to watch Spider-Man, and the only reason I didn't for the Amazing Spider-Man was because it was too hard to not want to watch Tobey. But other than that, man, No Way Home, absolutely a top 10 movie of mine.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I get more into like Star Wars stuff. I definitely like Star
Yeah.
Wars more, but
Mhm.
I'll end up watching all of like the superhero movies. I just don't always watch them on time. So I'll
Yeah,
be like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
like I haven't seen that one.
The new
Definitely kept up with
Batman.
the Avengers.
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't
Avengers.
watched the new Batman, but I'm going to see that in theater. And I haven't seen a movie in theater in like at least 2 years. Like it has been a long, yeah, dude. It's been because COVID,
COVID, yeah,
and so it's
exactly.
just like I never ended up going. And I used to go to the movies a lot, but I don't really go to them that much. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
one that I'm gonna go see the movies probably honestly this week. Yeah,
It is
I
3
heard
hours
it's super
long.
long,
It
but
is.
I really like Batman's character, and a lot of people were saying like this is the best Batman they thought because they said it was most representative of Batman in comic books.
Yes, yes, it is the most representative of the actual, Batman that we own. It just depends on what kind of person you are. If you like a lot of action, you might not like this Batman. But if you're like, this is kind of like a detective kind of Batman, which remember, he is a detective. It's really
Yeah,
good. Really good.
yeah, I'm pumped to see that movie, and I'll have to catch up on Spider Man, especially Isaac if you're so locked in on Spider Man, I need to catch up on him.
Spider-Man is, dude, I think he's the best, maybe the most, especially with the way Tom Holland is doing it right now and the way, Spider-Man has consistently produced good movies. He might be the most iconic superhero.
Yeah,
I mean, of
I feel
course
like
you could
that's
say
true.
Superman. Yeah, I feel like you could say Superman, but Superman's
No,
like
dude,
boring. He's
no,
boring, boring movies. Batman's meh, like he's cool sometimes. Dark Knight was fantastic. Iron
that's my
Man,
favorite superhero movie ever, Dark
yeah,
Knight.
Dark Knight's fantastic, dude. The Joker carried. If you look at Captain America's movies, cool. Iron Man movies, cool. But the best, and remember, before Tobey's Spider-Man, superhero movies weren't all that crazy. It's been Spider-Man, the best ever since.
Yeah, no, I like it, dude. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I would probably say that I like Batman a little bit more than Spider Man, but like I still like Spider Man.
Yeah, of course, of
I feel
course.
like I'm thinking of this. You said that you think that Spider Man is like should be like is like I don't know. If I'm thinking you're talking about Spider Man, Superman, I feel like for like our age at least, like the marquee superheroes, I think the three are Spider Man, Batman, and Iron Man. I would say.
Oh
I think
yeah,
Iron Man's up there because
Iron
dude,
Man's sick, dude.
yeah, the Iron Man movies, like the first couple, are so good. They're
So good.
such good movies.
All three of them are
So,
good. Yeah.
do you think there's other people that would be? I guess the
Nah, man.
younger generation,
Black
probably
Panther.
add Thanos into it. I know he's not a good guy, but like,
Thanos is
right? Like
definitely
that's
like one
because
of the
like we
best.
didn't see really he wasn't a character when we were growing up, really.
Yeah, yeah,
Wonder
yeah.
Woman kind of a guy.
Yeah, man. So if we're looking at the new or the younger generation, I mean, you could still say Captain America, you could say Ant-Man, you could say Black Panther, Doctor Strange for whoever likes Doctor Strange. I will put it on record right now. I am not a Doctor Strange fan.
Really, I like
I think
Doctor
he,
Strange. I don't
dude, I
love
think
Doctor Strange, but I
I,
like Doctor Strange.
I just think he's too overpowered. Kind
Okay,
of like
dude,
how,
that's the thing. I've noticed that, bro. Like, it's like,
dude,
dude,
right?
like Doctor Strange could have broke this like easily, man. This is an easy move for him to avoid this.
Yeah, and Captain Marvel's even more overpowered. So I'm like,
Yeah,
they're kind of boring. Best villain in comics and movies, as a Spider-Man fan, Green Goblin or Doc Ock.
I'm getting murked over here. Did you see this in the chat?
Yeah.
I don't know what I did to you guys. See you, John. John said he's hopping off.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else. The Mandalorian is a legit good series. Yeah, I love the Mandalorian. I thought it was fantastic. I will say I was very underwhelmed by Book of Boba. I was pumped.
Oh, I haven't seen it. My brother loves The Mandalorian though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know there. Also, Gil brought up Mario Kart. Mario Kart's the best game of all time. I will put that on record here. That is, it's not even a competition, dude.
My favorite Mario
Madden, like
game.
sports games are great. Mario Kart
Oh
is the
yeah.
best game ever. I strongly believe that.
My favorite, for anyone who's played it, Mario Super Sluggers.
That's
I
another fantastic
love
game.
Mario Super Sluggers, man. I've been wanting to play it so bad recently, but yeah, that's a really good game too. Deadpools are always really good.
Deadpool, yeah, dude. Deadpool's a hilarious character.
Yeah,
I think
they're
that's
fantastic.
an excellent superhero movie, especially because it's definitely like not made for kids. Like not even kind of.
Yeah.
You guys prefer movies or series?
Series.
Yeah, I'd probably say series. That's what I usually do. All right, series are on. Yeah, I think I would say series, just because I end up watching series more often.
Yeah.
Devin says Mandalorian and pre-Disney Star Wars are the best to me. Yeah, I also loved Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was an amazing movie. Oh, people are saying Mortal Kombat, Zelda,
fantastic game,
Mario Strikers. Doesn't Chase love Mario Strikers?
Chase likes Rocket League. I don't know about Mario Strikers, but Chase loves Rocket League.
Yeah, that's a good one. Dude, there's a lot of good games. I feel like
absolutely.
Nintendo slaps.
Nintendo's always come out with nothing but hits. So I guess my last question would be, what is your favorite baseball game, and what is your favorite baseball movie?
Favorite baseball game? And my
I already
favorite
said
baseball
that.
movie?
Yep.
Sandlot for the movie, just because that's that was like one of my favorite movies growing up, always, right? Game. I definitely have played the show the most, and I think the show is fantastic.
Right.
The problem with the show is that it's been the same game every single year. Backyard baseball. I know a lot of people love backyard baseball.
Pablo.
Dude, Pablo. Yeah, exactly. But I got one for you. Slugfest. Have you ever played Slugfest?
That's a sleeper.
Dude, that is the funniest sports game there is.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Slugfest is great. So is the Bigs. The Bigs is good. The Bigs is all right. For anyone who's played the classic MVP Baseball 2004 or 2005, also another one. Obviously, my favorite, Mario Super Sluggers. So what's your? Oh, you already said your favorite baseball movie. Mine is also The Sandlot. I have seen it recently. It never fails to hit the same way it did the first time I watched it. So it's always a really good movie.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of great baseball movies. Field of Dreams also classic.
Rookie of the Year, Field of Dreams, Major League.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good baseball movies. Oh my God, I'm about to start watching this show. It's a good one. It's a good one, and I know people in the chat are gonna love this. It's a baseball show. Oh my God, dude, I can't think of the name. It's where the pitcher is all washed, and he comes back and he's trying to get back to the league.
I feel like I've seen this before.
One sec.
Tecmo Baseball, I haven't played that. Anthony, so I don't know if you heard, but on opening day they're gonna have Matt will get to his statement right now, but
it's Eastbound and Down.
I want to say I've seen. Oh, Mr. 300 is fantastic, Steve. I want to say I've seen that though, Matt. I don't know.
Carson said at the same time.
What was I gonna say? So for opening day, opening day in at Petco Park, they're actually gonna have Fan Fest. So Fan Fest is gonna be held on opening day, and you can have. Obviously, the players are going to be at the game. So any hopes for autographs are going to have to come from like Trevor Hoffman. Maybe Greg Vaughn will be there again. But there may be some prospects also. But they're going to have the game on the big screens, both behind where the Saquon Casino is. Not the Saquon, the actual Saquon Casino, but you guys know what I'm talking about, where like the big screen is. And then I think on the big screen on the field. And so I might go to that Fan Fest. I think it'd be really cool to go to. So.
Aren't you and Chase going to opening day in Arizona?
I'm not. I think my dad
Oh,
might, but I think I'm gonna go to the fan fest. Oh,
oh well, this person is getting blocked.
all right.
Jesus. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Jerron says he's 46 when Nintendo came out. It was baseball stars. We were so much better, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that when you're looking at like video games, I like video games that are like older, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I like all like the 90s games. I think the 90s games are amazing.
What was it called? The one with Little Mac. Punch Out? Is that what it's called? I'm not entirely sure. Someone needs to let
I've
me
never
know,
seen it.
but
I've never seen it.
I loved that game. I think obviously like all the classics when you look at like Mario and Punch Out, stuff like that, they come from like the old times. But I think games have always been good. My dad used to love playing on the Nintendo and stuff too, and the GameCube. And I don't know when Mario what was it Super Smash Bros. Oh, that game is a classic too. Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Yep, love that game. Um, what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Greg
NBA
Vaughn.
Jam. NBA Jam's a
Oh,
great
NBA
one.
Jam's fantastic. I was a little. I don't know if I'll say was. I say I still am a Lakers fan. Um, I used to love being Kobe and Powell. Kobe and Powell. Kobe and Shaq.
Dude, so many Laker fans right now.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, I don't really know how much I love the LeBron Lakers as much as I feel like the Kobe Lakers is just like I'm not a Laker
Yeah,
fan, but like I feel like that's what's like truly is like I don't know, like a Laker guy, like a Laker like
yeah.
superstar.
And I love LeBron. Don't get me wrong. It's just the state of basketball right now. I'm not like the person that says, "Oh man, basketball is so much tougher back in the day." I just think that the product isn't as good because you have 8 teams making the playoffs, so the regular season isn't as important because you actually have 10 teams making the playoffs because of the playing game. That's 2/3 of the league, and then that they create the super teams, so there's gonna be like a good 2 or 3 teams, and everyone's saying like anyone can win the Eastern Conference this year. No, not the truth. The Heat aren't gonna do anything. I think it's just going to be the Bucks, Nets, and I forgot the other team. But I just think the quality of the game is watered down with how many teams make the. Yeah, exactly. Regular season basketball is actually really bad. I just think it's watered down with how many teams make the playoffs, as well as the amount of teams we actually know are going to compete.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, I think we're about to take off. Final thing I'm gonna say, because dude, we were only planning on going like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Super fun live stream today. But before I go, I want to tell you guys we're working on a bunch of stuff to like expand the channel in a variety of ways. So gonna be back to posting daily for Padres content. Also gonna not exactly add a Discord server, but gonna add something similar, something that we think is actually a little bit better. So we'll probably get into that we'll probably post that like next week. And we'll let you guys know in the next live stream as well. But got a bunch of stuff that we're working on. Super excited to do some expansion and stuff. So wanted to let you guys know because I think some people were asking like, hey, you guys should have a Discord. I'd love to join. We're gonna have something very, very similar to that. But we just think it'll be a little bit better, a little more interactive. So yeah, get Manny Machado on the podcast. You got his number, Isaac? Text Manny.
Wildest dreams.
That would be amazing. Hopefully we'll get some cool guests though as well. We almost had. I'm not going to bring up his name, but we almost had someone that would have been awesome to bring
Huge.
on.
Mm-hmm.
And we were so pumped, but it just didn't work out. Honestly, blame the MLB owners for that one. Like direct blame to them. But yeah, I don't know. Super pumped though for all the stuff we got going on. So thank you guys all for the support. And we'll be posting daily from here on out, I believe. Maybe we might have a couple slip ups here and there, but that's the plan is Monday through Saturday posts and then a live stream every single Sunday, do a weekly review kind of like this one. But super pumped for all that and going to take off today, but we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.